Welcome to Funktified Food. My name is Dan Valancourt. We're going to do a dish that involves two of America's favorite comfort foods in one. We're going to combine macaroni and cheese and pizza. I call this the Mac and Blue. The Mac and Blue pizza. First, we're going to make the sauce. We're going to need a half a cup of part skim ricotta cheese. You could use the full fat variety if you really want to. Half a cup of Monterey Jack or any kind of good melting cheese. 1 tablespoon of chives. You can either use fresh or dried. A dash of cayenne pepper if you want a little bit of heat, which obviously I like if you watch the show. And then just crack black pepper and salt to taste and stir it up. That's your sauce. All right, you're going to need about a cup of cooked pasta. And so if you just have some leftover pasta, you can use just about any variety. If you're cooking it specifically for this recipe, just undercook your pasta a little bit by about, a minute or so. This is kind of a cool trick. We're going to caramelize some onions, and we're not going to use any oil or butter or anything else. We're just going to take a hot pan. I like to use a grill pan or a cast iron pan, and then preheat it on medium for a couple minutes so it's nice and hot. And just pop those onions right down on there for about 2 minutes or side or so. Just kind of watch them so they don't burn. And what that does without the oil, it's actually sort of caramelizing the sugars in the onion, and it makes them really sweet. All right, the sauce is made, the pasta's cooked, the onions are caramelized. Let's make the pizza. I rolled out this pizza dough about a half hour ago and let it rise a little bit. And I'm just going to kind of poke it down in the middle where I'm going to put the toppings and leave the outside so I'll have a nice crust. So all you have to do is spread the sauce, put about a cup of pasta on there, and just kind of press it down into it so it almost becomes like one entity. You'll have a kind of a thin crust that kind of goes into the sauce, into the pasta. It's a pretty cool thing. On top of that, we're going to put our caramelized red onions. I like to save just a little bit to garnish with at the end too. And just a half a cup of blue cheese and about a quarter cup of sharp cheddar on top. I'm using my pizza stone today, so I have my oven preheated at 500 degrees, and I've had it preheating for about 45 minutes. I'm going to let that go for about 10 minutes. You just need to watch it. Everyone's oven's different. Kind of get used to the way that your oven cooks and find a temperature that works well for your pizzas and stick with it. You'll notice when it's on the stone that the cheese will actually start to bubble and cook. That's because that stone is preheated, so the heat's coming up through and cooking it nice and evenly. All right, I'm going to pull that pizza out. I'm going to set it on a cooling rack for about 4 or 5 minutes. I'm going to garnish it with some fresh chopped Italian parsley. You could also use fresh chives. All right, it's time to cut the pizza. I think you're going to like this pizza, guys. You have kind of the crunchy crust underneath, but you have sort of the breadiness of the outer crust. And then you have the creaminess of the sauce. You have the sharp cheddar, and you have kind of the funkiness of the blue cheese. And you have some of the sweetness of that caramelized onion. Kind of adds another depth of flavor. Of course, salt and pepper. You can even add a little salt and pepper at the end if you want. That little bit of cayenne has that little bit of heat. And then we have that fresh element on top. We can garnish it with either the parsley or the chives. All these flavors meld together to create this dish, and I will tell you what, this is Funktified Food, and I'll see you next time. My name is still Dan Valancourt, and this is still Funktified Food. I'll see you next time.